I called for help. I told people, please come and help me. Get a solution at least so that I can get this pain off my body. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Simply Nai, and today I really want to share my labor and delivery story. It is such a powerful and personal story to me because of what happened during the moments. I want to take you back a little bit. If I know most of you guys don't follow me that much because I'm new. I'm not new, but I'm on and off. So back in 2023 October, I posted a video telling you guys I had removed my IUD and I was planning for childbirth. So I removed my IUD in 2023 and October, so I was in waiting from October, November, December, the whole of 2024. I was just trying, and then God, kaboom, God gave me the pregnancy in December 2024. But I had not tried. I remember getting nervous along the way when I'm seeing that I was not getting pregnant. But one thing that stood out is I was so busy during that time. I was a busy person during that whole period, so I was like, I think I'm too busy, that's why I'm not getting pregnant. So I gave myself some rest during November. I realized that I was pregnant in January. It was just a random thought. I was washing my clothes and then I was like, I feel I'm pregnant with no symptoms. Like I didn't have morning sickness, I wasn't vomiting, I didn't have any nausea, I didn't have nothing. It was just a random thought. I went to the pharmacy, bought a pregnancy test, tested, and I was pregnant. I think by the time I was 2 weeks pregnant, 2 weeks, 3 weeks pregnant around there, because the second line was so faint. So after getting to know that I was pregnant, I went through the whole pregnancy. I recorded most of my things when I was pregnant. And so we had planned with my gynecologist that I was going to give birth around 22nd September according to my last menstruation period dates. And then when but the first scan showed 16th September. So sometimes the gynae follows the scan, and the other times they follow the NMP, the last menstruation dates. So we reached September 16th, no sign of labor. 22nd, no sign of labor. So the 22nd, I went back to the hospital, and the gynae was like, let us give it 1 more week, and then if we don't get labor, we schedule for induction of labor. So mind you, this is my firstborn. So I went back home, waited for a full week, nervous. I did everything on planet Earth to get labor. I did all the exercises on the internet. I ate everything that I could manage to get that they said that induces labor. All of that refused. So on the 29th, that's the date the gynae had given me, I went back to the hospital. This time around, I didn't go to the antenatal clinic. I went straight to the labor ward. I had carried everything. I went straight to the labor ward. So when I went and talked to the labor and delivery nurse, and then they called the gynae was like, okay, admit her and then start the induction medicine immediately, because I came in the morning. I went on the 29th in the morning. So they admitted me. They gave me a very nice room. I really liked that room. I really liked the environment of that hospital. They give you a room for convenience of your attendants where you're going to stay, but you come back in the labor and delivery room where your induction is going to take place. So I came back for my induction in the labor ward, and I think the induction started at 11 a.m. Inductions kicked in like around noon. I moved around. The pains were not that much. I used, what was the medicine? Was it Dyna something? That's the medicine I used. They put it in down there, the vagina. So putting it in, it was painful. And also that when the contractions started kicking in, and then I was like 2 centimeters. Contractions were so painful. They were so painful. I cried, I vomited, I experienced a lot of things. And what was the more painful, like, you know, when they tell you come back, like, so I went, and then I got 2 centimeters like at 2 p.m. They told me come back at 4. So I went back at 4, but within that period, those 2 hours, I was having a lot of contractions. And I hoped that by that time I was thinking like I'm like at 5 centimeters. Reaching I got angry with myself during that period, and then I went back. So I went back. They told me to come back at 6 after that VE. I think at 6 that's when the main consultant, the gynecologist, the consultant one, was coming. I was tired of VEs because they had done like 3 VEs at the moment. The VE that they did when I had just come, and then the SHO, I don't know, they called the doctor SHO. I think the doctor in Nani Masters did the VE at 4, and now I had to go for a VE for that consultant. So, and by that I was so disappointed with myself, but I kept on moving around, sleeping on the side, doing everything they tell you. But I'm telling you, during that period I had a lot of pain. I had constant vomiting. They gave me an IV, they did everything, but I was weak even. So I had not eaten. I refused. I don't know, I ate in the morning because as I left home to come to the hospital, I left with my younger sister, and then along the way my husband joined us, and then my mom came later in the afternoon. So I had eaten in the morning, and then my boyfriend brought me some other eats during the session, but I didn't eat. And 6 p.m. that the consultant came. They told me to lie down for another VE. I was like, I'm tired. This should be the last VE, not knowing it was the last one. So at 6 p.m. we had the VE, and then they did the VE. After doing the VE, the doctor was like, oh, the baby is getting in distress, the baby is getting tired, the water is changing to green, we need to have an emergency section. Oh my Jesus. What, you know what, that one thing that came into my mind, I have done everything. Why now? Why now? Why am I failing at every point of my life? I don't know why those thoughts started coming. I'm like, doctor, isn't there anything I can do to push? Everyone was like, no, your husband should come and sign, your boyfriend, whatever, should come and sign, and then take consent for you to go to theater. I cried. I cried. I cried. I cried. The scariest thing is I went to the theater. That's when, like, the scariest thing of this whole labor and delivery thing is I went to theater. They wheeled me, they did everything. They put the catheter, they did the cannulation. That I already had the cannula because they were giving me IVs because of my vomiting. And they wheeled me to the theater after preparing me and everything. And to my disappointment, reaching theater, you know, I think it was just trauma, or I was just thinking in my head that now it's an emergency, I don't need contractions. I had severe contractions. I called for help. I told people, please come and help me, get a solution at least so that I can get this pain off my body. And everyone was like, there's nothing we can do, we just have to wait for the anesthetist. And the anesthetist took 1 hour. The anesthetist came, they had to do the scrubbing and everything to prepare themselves to come and do the procedure. It took them 30 minutes. And I was like, you people, the bed in the theater was so small. I didn't have any support. They refused my parents in, or my boyfriend. They were outside, so they didn't know what was taking place inside. The bed was so small, I felt like as if I'm going to fall. I told them, let me be down on the floor. Like, you people, I will never forget that day. So, and then after the 30 minutes, the anesthetist worked, of them preparing, the anesthetist worked on me. I felt so relieved. They started the procedure. I'm there, I'm just quiet, listening to what they're saying and what they're doing as I'm praying, because they told me the baby is already weak. They have spent 1.5 hours doing what they want to do. I don't know. So I was just praying for my baby to cry. and then there's that constant pulling during the emergency, like during the cesarean section, that's pulling, like that has a lot of discomfort, but I had to bear with it. And my baby came out crying out loud, like she had a loud cry, and I was so happy, I was so delighted, I thanked God, I was so relieved. And then they did whatever they did, and then I went to the recovery room. I went to the recovery room and left the recovery room at 10 p.m. You guys, I went to theater at 6 p.m. and left theater at 10 p.m. My mom was worried sick. She was like, what is taking them that long? What is wrong with my daughter? What is everything? And then when I was coming back, I came back on oxygen. I think my saturation was a bit low, but it was not so low. My oxygen saturation was around 87, 88 to, so it was, they decided to put me on oxygen and also monitoring. So I came back on oxygen. My mom was so worried. I just told her I was fine, I'll be fine. I didn't have any problems. They gave me a good pain kit. I didn't have any pain. The only problems I had, they were the problems of theater and also the problem of not caring for my baby during that period. After theater, like taking care of me and then removing the baby, cutting the baby's cord, they took the baby to nursery for monitoring 24 hours. So after the monitoring, and then they did all the blood works, and then the baby was fine. They gave the baby back to me. And then after giving the baby back to me, I didn't see a pediatrician again. I was like, I spent in that hospital 4 days after delivery. And I was like, at least the pediatrician should come and check on me. No one was coming. I told them, they said, she's coming, he's coming, no one was coming. And then I was like, the good thing, my baby has no problem. I'll go experience. It was not so tragic, but because I did not plan the cesarean section and had it took a toll on me. In planning for delivery, please have plan B all the time. You will not be disappointed. Plan B is very important. Plan B, like, it does not bring, like, the emotions won't be so high for you. And then when you're planning for the recovery, plan for recovery of both child, normal birth, and also the cesarean section.